Welcome to Get Started with PBS LearningMedia. My name is Rachel Robertson, and I'm on the education team at KQED. Again, to access the presentation slides, please see the link in the chat, or you can type this bit.ly link into another browser window and come back to it later. The slides are a great thing to access so you can share them with colleagues and refer to what we're going to talk about on the call, since it is a pretty quick run through. Please follow KQED on Twitter at KQED EdSpace. We're always updating our feed with lots of resources that we get both from public media stations and from our audience and of educators. These webinars are hosted daily, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So spread the word. We'd love to see you and your colleagues back here. And if you have any questions that come up, we're at education@kqed.org. So KQED is a public media station here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and our education department supports students and classrooms in building media literacy in a couple of different ways. We have KQED Teach, which is our online site for teacher professional development. We have KQED Learn, an online space for students to practice academic civil conversation around issues and to make media in response to big questions. And then we also have PBS LearningMedia, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What is PBS LearningMedia? PBS LearningMedia is a vast library of thousands of free, high-quality resources from public media stations around the country. You can access the site, if you have the slides, by clicking on this link or by typing pbslearningmedia.org into a new browser window. We're going to go to the live site in a few minutes, but that's just an overview of what you're going to see. A big library of resources that are always free and always available to you as an educator, a parent, or a student. Someone asked a few webinars back, is this just in response to the school closures that we're all experiencing right now? And the answer is no. PBS LearningMedia has been around for years. And so we're so glad that this moment is a moment that it can also serve the schools and teachers. So if you're interested in signing up for PBS LearningMedia, you wouldn't be here. So here we all are. Let me tell you how to sign up. But before that, just to remind you that if you want to access these slides for reference later, because I am going to talk pretty fast, here is the bit.ly link. To sign up for PBS LearningMedia for a free account, it's pretty standard. If you are a teacher, you're going to create a teacher account. If you are now a parent who has become a teacher, you are going to create a teacher account. Everyone creates a teacher account unless you are a student. And you can sign on in all the various ways that we're used to signing on. Once you do that, you'll be asked to create a free account. And you'll be asked to enter in your zip code. And this is important because the site is national and it will localize for your area. And so wherever you are, I know we have someone from Florida on the call, SoCal, all over the country. The zip code will tell the site where you're logging in from. And so it will localize content that might be of particular interest to you and your area. PBS LearningMedia aligns and integrates with Google Classroom. So if you're a teacher who uses Google Classroom, it makes sense for you to use your Google sign-in when you log into the site. All right, so once you log in, what kind of resources will you find? Well, quite a few, and we'll go and see this in person in a second, but I want to tell you what you're about to see. You can search by subject, grade level, and standards. And once you do that, you'll find just so many resources under each topic. Each resource has a unique URL, and that means that you'll be able to share that resource specifically widely by clicking in. So once you find something you like, you can send that URL or that link to anyone, and they'll be able to access the site for free. There's a lot of functions on the site, but at its very heart, PBS LearningMedia is a streaming service. So the things that you can access on the site, the videos, for example, or the other things, students or your community members can access from anywhere. Some of the things that they can access are videos, and this just is a tiny little tip of the iceberg that we've collected to show you and give you a taste of what's on the site. Once you access the slides, you can click in to any of these links and just explore. There are videos serving students pre-K actually, all the way through 12, in all different subject areas. There are also collections on the site, and we'll see those in a second. Collections are already curated resources, often that feature shows or content that your students are already familiar with. Shows like Arthur and Wildcrats and Odd Squad. And so it's a great way to use some of those resources in the collections to connect with your students with shows that they might already be used to watching at home. There's also collections focused on skills that students might need to be building, such as grammar, US history, world history, nature and science. So there's lots of different collections that are targeted for specific audiences with specific content. So that's another thing that you'll see when we go to the live site. You can also explore resources using keywords by topic. And so this gives you an idea of, under the topic of human impact on ecosystems and the environment, there are resources in lots of different grade levels, videos, interactives, and lesson plans. And as you can see underneath each of these resources, every single resource on PBS Learning Media is aligned with state and national standards. And you can search for a resource by standard or by grade level. This is really important in case you're feeling like there might have been some things this year your students you hadn't had a chance to teach them yet. This will give you a great opportunity to go in and find things that specifically address certain standards and help expose students to those things. And when in doubt, because the site is large and there's a lot going on, there's a really great help menu, but it's a little hard to find. So if you're on the home page, you're going to want to scroll down to the very bottom where it says help, and that'll open up a menu of help and screenshots and instructional videos and all sorts of things that you can use if you get stuck. So let's go to the live site and see some of the things that you'll find there. I'm going to be clicking through the live site right now, but there are slides in the deck that kind of align with everything I'm going to be talking about. So let's go to the site. This is the site, so pbslearningmedia.org. Along the top upper menu, you see that you can search by subject, grade level, or standard. If you click on the subjects, you will open up a pretty significant menu of all sorts of different topics. You can search by subtopic. There's health and PE, there's preschool, there's professional development for educators. There's lots of different things that can help your students and help you connect with them during this time. So for example, say you clicked in and I think we have a chemistry teacher on the call, so let's look at science. You can click into the big topic and you'll get just everything you've ever wanted to know about science. And then you can kind of drill down a little bit deeper to find other things that you need. So you can see there's a lot of videos happening. So say you're like me and you really love space. You could search by that, and then within that category, you can drill down even further. You also, of course, can search by keyword at any time. So that might help as well. So once, say you find a video that you are really excited about, let's see something like, Crash Course Nebulae. Sounds awesome. So you see, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a great thing to share with my students. What you want to do immediately if you really like something is press this blue heart, which favorites it. And that means that as you go down the rabbit hole exploring the site, you'll always be able to come back to things that you're really interested in. Those things are collected on your dashboard, which can be accessed here. And you can see all of your favorites are collected in one place. So for example, if I click on my favorites, you will see very shortly that the nebulae video is going to pop up, and it's right there in my favorites. You can also share this link or add it to a folder. Folders are a great way to organize your resources in PBS Learning Media. As you can see, we have a lot of folders going on. You have an unlimited number. And so say I wanted to put this folder into the 9-12 grade science folder that I have going. I can just click it, I can add it to a folder, and then I have my whole list of folders here that I can just click on the one that I want to add to it. You can also share this resource in a lot of different ways. You can share it to Google Classroom. You can also share it or assign it through just a link. So if you're making an assignment within Google Classroom, if that's what you're used to, you can just quick assign using that link, and then students will go exactly to this page. You can remind them what you have done. You can email the link, or you can share it on social media with maybe colleagues or friends. So those are all the ways that you can share from the site. But again, pressing that blue heart is pretty important because as you start exploring, you'll find maybe many things you want to share. And by favoriting it, it'll help you get back to it a lot quicker. There's also a really great feature, a lot of great tools on the site for teachers and people who have now become teachers, parents, that will help you build lessons within PBS Learning Media. So for example, the Lesson Builder is a tool that helps you kind of string resources together into a lesson flow. And then you can share that entire lesson with students. You can also, there's a quiz maker, a storyboard, a puzzle builder, lots of different tools that you can use. To best access these features, if you choose to use them on the site, it's best if your students sign on to the site as well. Then they can create a free account, or you can import your roster from Google Classroom. This is not necessary for students to see the resources themselves. But if you want to use any of these tools and really make the most of them, that's the easiest way to do it. Once students log on, it's a very, very simple process. Of course, PBS does not take any student data. Then they can connect with you on the site, but then they can also have access to a lot of other things that would help them organize their assignments, projects, classes, favorites, right? So students, once they sign on, can have tools available to them as well. Again, if you want to just send them the link to the Nebulae article or another one that you find, you can just do that, and they'll be able to click in and access without creating an account. I saw some hands go up, and I understand this is a lot. I encourage you to put questions in the chat, and my colleagues are there to answer them. And then in a few minutes, we'll have time for questions before we close. So again, there's lots to see on the site. There's lots to explore. Just here on the homepage, there are curated resources. There are news and events in your area. Oh, look, here is where we are right now. And there are award-winning collections and series that are really important to check out and fun to see kind of what's going on. So there's lots happening on the site. So definitely take some time to browse. I know this is a time that we're all kind of feeling anxious and disconnected. I feel like browsing this might make you feel and spark ideas for different ways you could connect with your colleagues and with your students and with your community. So I encourage you to just jump right in. Let's go back to the slides. And again, everything I went over at about lickety split is on the slides. We have a slide for every single thing I just talked about, so you can reference those later at your own pace. And finally, many of our students don't have reliable Wi-Fi at home. And so California stations in particular, but I know stations all over the country, are banding together to broadcast standards-aligned educational programming daily and over the TV. So this is a link for more information about California's broadcast schedule. That includes KPBS, PBS SoCal, KQED, of course, and other public media stations in California, and many other states are doing similar things. Finally, this collection is a collection that PBS Learning Media put together to respond to our emergency closings for all grades, PK through 12. Within these collections, in addition to all the videos and interactives that you saw on the site, there are printables. And I know a lot of folks are actually physically printing out materials, putting together packets for students to either pick up at school or pick up at free lunch sites that are opening up. And so you'll find a lot of those addressed and that issue addressed in this collection. So please stay healthy. Please connect with us if you have any more questions or anything that you need. We are here Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We're always on Twitter, posting and connecting and making sure that you have all the resources that are coming across our desks. And there's lots of different things on our website. So please stay in touch. Please stay connected to each other and to public media. We're going to stop here, and I know that there are probably lots of questions, so I'm going to stop sharing and look at the chat. And if you want to put a question in the question box, you can do that as well. It's up to you. But what questions do folks have? And my colleagues Almitra and Alana are on, and I can also help answer them as well. All right, I see a question in the question box. Can the students' email addresses be imported? Yes, Belinda, you can import your whole Google Classroom class roster into PBS Learning Media. If you don't have a Google Classroom, I would encourage you to email students and let them know to sign up. Hi, Kara. I use a tool called Studio with Canvas, RLMS, and to embed questions into videos so that students have to watch the videos and answer the questions, equations, accountability. Very important. Can your videos be used with this? I'm not sure, but I think that you may have to download them in order for that to work. So I know that some videos can be downloaded from the site. And once you download them, then you can, I think, align them with like Edpuzzle or Studio or any kinds of things that you do normally. If you can do it through YouTube, you might want to see if the resource that you're looking for is on YouTube. Yeah, it works with YouTube. Okay. Some of these resources are also on YouTube. For example, Crash Course is on YouTube, and a lot of secondary videos are on YouTube already. So if you find something on PBS Learning Media and you want to embed those questions, I would go to YouTube and see if there's also a version that exists on YouTube. That's kind of a special case. But yeah, if you're already using YouTube and familiar with that, you'll find some videos that are on PBS Learning Media will also be on YouTube. What other questions? These are great. Carl, will you drop your email into the chat? You can just drop it to me or KQD Education. I actually am really curious to see about whether or not you can use things like embedded questions or Edpuzzle or anything on the site itself. So I can ask someone and I can email you back that answer definitively. Thank you so much. Hi, Janet. I'm trying to teach robotics without the students having robots at home. Any suggestions? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a very big problem. I would actually try to drill into the skills that robotics uses. I mean, there's that hands-on thing, but there's also things like design, right, and problem solving, and seeing how they can apply those same techniques or those same learning things that we want them to learn without actually having a physical robot. So think, what can they design at home, right? What can they get to work at home? What can they prototype with just the materials that they have? And those are concepts that can be applied to robotics once they get a robot in front of them again. All righty. These are so great. What other questions? I'm really looking at the, oh, and Kara says to Janet, Kara, have they done coding yet? Coding.org might work. Oh, that's even better. So much better. Thanks for helping each other, everyone. Oh, and then Sean says there's a site using virtual robots. Sean, will you drop that in the chat or in the answer box for Janet? Virtual robots, that's amazing. This is wonderful. Oh, there might be a cost associated with that. I don't know if code.org has a cost though, if folks know if that's free as well. And again, don't forget those low-tech design and prototyping and problem-solving skills that you maybe can encourage students to do at home. What other questions do we have? Coding is free. Code.org is free as a Scratch. Yay. Awesome. Oh, this is such great resource building. Thank you guys for helping each other. All righty. Oh, CS first. That's good too. Well, we're going to stay on a little longer in case folks have questions. But otherwise, it was great to connect today. Thank you so much for your questions and for learning with each other. Please use these slides and reference them because I went really fast. But pbslearningmedia.org is the site you really just want to jump on and start exploring. So that's really where you're going to find all the resources that we clicked out to from the slides. Yes, Karen, also, there's a huge list of resources that teachers, like companies are opening up to teachers. So definitely look for that. I think that's highly searchable. PBS Learning Media resources are always free. We always have been free and we always will be free. All right, I see the questions are slowing down, but we still have some coming in. So feel free to stay on. We'll stay on for a little while longer. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time today. And again, please let us know, education@kqed.org, if you have any further questions. Where can we get a recording of this meeting? This exact meeting, we don't have a recording of, but you'll get a follow-up email with a recording of a similar webinar that we did. But I highly recommend referencing the slides as well. Oh, Almitra says she's recording. So we will have a recording of this meeting.